Well, hello there again, friends. Today is 4/6/2022, and today is Odin Project Vlog Day 87. And I completed the uh, section, I guess nesting, if you will. Um, I did a little bit different than what they recommend. Basically, I did take the approach of taking it one section at a time, beginning and nesting children elements under their parent elements in the HTML. Remember that you can keep making grid containers within grids. Um, and then I kind of skipped around. I started in the header at the top, made most logical sense. So I did nesting and in the header using more grids inside of grids for the search bar, the user info, and the buttons, as you'll see in a moment. And then I stopped there. It was a good stopping point to make a video. Wow, there's a lot more to this than what meets the eye. I mean, I figured it was going to take a little bit of time, but this is slow going. So take your time with it. Take breaks. Take mini breaks. Don't get frustrated. Come back to it when you have fresh mind, fresh eyes. Makes all for the better experience. So I skipped down here then, and in the header, I had used more grids to lay out each search bar, user info, and buttons. And then instead of filling out dummy content, I actually put together, I kind of did it all at once, what I was saying earlier. So I decided to pick the header, and that's my section, and I nested and I completed it with real data, with my JB Technologies data, and I did all the styling, completed the entire thing, whole kit and caboodle for that particular section. I gathered my assets, which I won't go over for the brevity of this video, but they tell you some places to go. I grabbed the Roberto font and applied it via the import method on CSS that I'll show you here in a moment. And I used Tailwind to get. I didn't use Tailwind for the palettes, but I did use Material Design icons to get some of the icons. So the icons are out here on this Material Designs icon. You can basically use any one of these. They're open source, especially the ones, probably hard to see, but the ones with the orange square around them. So you just download those and put them to a folder. That I created a folder in my project called Images and stuck it in there. And then for the font, I grabbed the regular 400 right here, this one right here, for my font, and I did it via the import method. So I basically simply just copied that and pasted it at the top here of my styles CSS. I'll blow this up a little bit for you. But yeah, put it at the top here for import. And that's all that is. And then added the font family Roberto sans serif and HTML and body selectors as per the instructions for CSS rules to apply to specific families. And what that does is allows me to utilize this font style and all throughout my project. So that is that. So I think we're going to go over the HTML here, and actually here just to show you here. So I created the images folder, and this is where I stuck some of the images and assets that I'll be using. So just so you see that. I think what I might do is take you over, excuse me, the HTML and then the CSS. I might go to the browser because it might be a little easier to do a video on, because I can see the styling easier there, and you can see the styling easier there, and you can see the grid. I can turn it on and off, which make it for a little more visibly pleasing video than just going through all this CSS. Because as you can see, there's a lot here. I mean, maybe I went overboard a little bit, but there's a lot of styling going on, and this is all just basically the header, outside of what I did yesterday or in the last video. So basically, for the HTML, I added inside the header, I have a div class search, a div class presence, a div class account info, and a div class header buttons. And these are the 3 buttons inside as per the request here. And flip back. And then the account info is this section right here. So it includes text and a image. And it's called profile image and greeting text. And then inside presence is the top right hand corner up here. Excuse me. Which consists of a bell, a profile image, and a username. And then I have a class of search, which is right up here, and that's the magnify icon and image, and I used the text type input for right here. And that rounds off the header section. No additions to anything else at this time. For HTML, that is. So I highlighted this here. So this is kind of where I stopped last time. So this time I started off with header. I made the grid display on the header and made a template columns 2FR and a 0.7 FR and a line item 7. So let's head over to the browser and I'll explain some of this. I'll do the best I can. Some of it's kind of complicated, but here's what I have. I know it doesn't look like much, but it took me a long time between the last 2 days. So here is the sorry, I was just checking my time. Okay, so here is the header section, and the top section search, which is highlighted there. So search grid is what you see there, with a grid inside of it. So it's a grid inside a grid. And so if I turn that on, you'll see the header grid here is the pink or fuchsia, and then in the blue is the header, is the grid inside the grid, is the grid for the search. So search is actually, let's go up one for the header. I use 2FR and 0.7 FR on the header, which is this whole thing, because the 0.7 FR is a weird FR, but it's so it's just the number that made most sense for my current resolution to get everything on here without truncating it. So JB Technologies would fill the screen appropriately. Now, of course, if you resize it, of course it gets changed. But so that's why I chose that. Line items is center, so that just means that on the header, which is all this, all the items are going to be centered on the grid. And that's what this does right here. So you can see the search bar and everything is centered. The icon is centered. JB Technologies is centered. And then we go to down to the search. So now we're inside the search grid there. I have it set as grid as well, obviously. Templates to 0FR and 1FR. So I did that because 0FR will, I just, through playing around with it, figured out that 0FR will basically make the first column as small as it can be. It basically just surrounds the in whatever's inside of it. And I used a gap of 10 pixels, which means there's a gap right here between between the magnifying glass and the search bar. And I don't have the styling right here for the. Actually, I do. Let me just click it. It's not working. Anyway, there's a padding. You'll see down. We'll cover it in a minute. But I do have padding. I actually resorted to some padding. There's 10 pixels, I believe, of 20 pixels of padding, I believe, here and here to make them line up, because they were butted right up against the edge of the header, and I didn't really like that. It didn't look good, and it didn't really. I tried to mimic this the best I could. It's not perfect, but I got it to where I liked it, so I stopped here for a video. And then, oh yeah, so there's magnify, and then you see the padding there in the purple. 20 pixels, yep. And then it has a height of 25 pixels and a width of auto. So that's just controlling the size of the, I want to manually control the size of the hourglass. So, or not the hourglass, the magnifying glass. Sorry if I keep saying that. So it doesn't increase or decrease as I'm changing screen resolutions or screen zooms, sizing. See, it stays the same. And then the next thing I have is form. So form is the search box. Width is 600 pixels. I just define that just to get it to be bigger than the standard small size. Border radius is 10 pixels, which is the roundness of it, the sharpness of the edge. And I just choose the light gray as a background color as per the request of the assignment. Okay. And then we go down to presence, which I said is the top right hand corner material. So we have an image class bell, a profile image, and a username class. So the bell is a height of 25 pixels and width is auto, just like the magnifying glass. And the profile image in the center is height of 50 pixels and width of auto. And the presence is, sorry I skipped over that, is also a grid. So if I turn that on, you'll see the green there. And so it's a grid. I got a 3 repeat, a 1 FR there, and that's how you get 1, 2, 3 grid columns. And you got line item center, so they're all, everything's centered inside of each grid. And in justify item center, so that everything is justified in the center. Sorry, align items aligns everything together. And then justify item center, justify, puts it in the center of the grid. Or the grid item, the cell. And then individually, there's the, I already went over that for the bell. Profile picture, just went over that. And then the username class, JB Technology, is just a font weight bolder, just so it stands out a little bit more as per the dashboard layout there. Okay. And seeing how we're doing here on time. So don't want this to go really long. So I have account info down here. This one I spent quite a bit of time on. This is also a grid. Excuse me. Sometimes I realize I need to turn some of these off to get some of these others to turn on because they become defaulted. So this is a grid inside a grid. So let me see if I can turn on the header grid. Okay, so there's the header grid. So we are in the second row and first column of the header grid, and then this account info is its own grid as shown in red. It has a gap of 10 pixels. It's a line center, and it has a column template of 0 FR and 1 FR, just like I did. It's the same exact concept as per the first grid for the search. 0 FR will excuse me, will hug up tightly on the image, and then 1 FR is the basically the remainder of the of that grid, which is going to take its parents that's going all the way out here. And then the gap is 10 pixels, and I also have padding on the profile image of 20 pixels, as you see purple in here. And it has a height of 50 pixels in auto, which is taken from the same targeted selector as the other profile image. So then we come over here to greeting text, just a paragraph tag. Pretty simple. I had it more complicated than this, but I simplified it. So it doesn't have any CSS really to it, other than it has a line break tag inside of it, so I can get it to go to the next line. I know I might have cheated a little bit there because I had some major problems. Originally had a 2-row grid set up on this, and it was just not behaving. So excuse me, tickle my throat. So I may have cheated a little bit by putting the line break in there, but it works. I might go back and alter it, maybe not. We'll see later. But so that's the paragraph tag, and it's just simply inheriting the font family from the body. And then we go down to the header buttons, which is on the bottom right corner there. and that is also a grid. It has a template columns of repeat 3 1FR, just like we had, just like I had for the present section. So repeat is going to repeat if I turn it on here, you'll see there it is in the light green or teal color there. So it's going to repeat 3 times 1FR each. Align item setter and justify item setter just like the presents. And the buttons themselves have some styling on them. So I have an RGB 54, 148, 236 color. I kind of use that to try to mimic the background image of my avatar, just to have that theme present. Border radius 10 pixels, so that's the roundness of the button. Padding is 5 pixels and 10 pixels, so it's 5 pixels of padding on the left and or on the yeah, that's right. 5 pixels on the left and right, and 10 pixels on the top and bottom for all those. And color is white, so that's the color of the text inside the button. And font weight 900 to make it extra bold, as per the diagram. So that worked out really well. I think doing it this way was better. I didn't have to flip back and forth, and I think it was easier. Hopefully, it was easier for you guys to follow. I do like to stay inside of Vscode when I can, but since talking about grids and everything, sometimes it's visually easier to make a video and just show you and turn on the grids, and as far as that goes. So, and that rounds it out. So that is what I got done. So the header is done. So next time I will for next video I'll take a new chunk and work on it. Main content I may save that for last. I may go to the sidebar next. So either way, I haven't decided yet. But one way or the other, I'll start either sidebar or main content. I'll do like I did here. I'll completely finish it and get the assets in place. And when you download your assets, make sure, I already kind of covered this, make sure you make an images folder inside your projects so that you can reference them, and make sure in your HTML that you are sourcing them correctly out of that images folder. You could, as we all know, you can get them as a download, download a link, that is, like a CDN type link, but I highly discourage that, because if the CDN ever goes down or they remove that asset, you'll lose it and it'll break your page. So I would download the SVG files from the Material Designs website, and you just do that by clicking here, and I think it was just download package, yep, SVG optimized, and then just move that over to your images folder, and you be rocking and rolling. So please like, share, and subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments section how you guys are doing on this rather beefy admin dashboard project. And I enjoy seeing all the new subscribers. Welcome, I see you. Welcome aboard, and hope you had fun and learned a little bit along the way on the journey today. And so with all that said, till next time, see ya.